Elquator, we believe we are the solution to make the world a better place. With our system implementation, it will reduce carbon around the world. We provide green technology from green sources. Our system also will reduce plastics around the world. We also will enhance the life quality for the people who in need.
Good afternoon. My name is Henrik Kreuter. I'm a Danish citizen, but I'm resident here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm actually educated in the army. I'm a sergeant in the Royal Danish Life Guards. I've been there for many years. Besides this, I hold a business degree from Copenhagen Business School. And I run a few companies in my life, where this one here is the largest one. This one here is also the most important one of all of them. Many people ask, why Elquator? Why is the logo like the logo is? To start with the logo I created from children in a competition before we went to the Philippines in 2017. It was a competition where we asked the children, how do you want the morning to be when you wake up? And some of the criteria was that it have to be fresh, like good morning. It have to be, we are happy when we wake up, we hear the birds, we see the trees, we see the sun. So that was the criteria, and many hopeful children make this drawing. But the logo we have today was a special girl who said, I want literally to wake up to see the sun smiling, the birds saying noises, the blue water, the skies and everything. And she actually made this one. So this is the logo that we have today. It's very special, it's very unique. We paid her a sum of money for it, and it became our logo.
This is Mr. Beatty. He are the accountant in this company. All the financial part will be handled by him and his assistant. Mr. Zahid, assistant to Mr. Beatty. He helped Mr. Beatty where in needs and managing the parts and tools for engineers to buy. Mr. Akil is the all-rounder for the company. He is the one who will settle all the company issues like license and authorities.
What is the idea behind Elquator? The idea behind Elquator was actually formed in 2013 October in Phuket, Thailand. We built the first wind turbines in Phuket, Thailand. It was a small wind turbine, but it was actually designed to make electricity 2000 watt for expensive villas who didn't have access to electricity. And they were a little bit tired of listening to gensets, they were a little bit tired of having the noise, the fume from diesel, etc. So one guy actually asked me, how can I solve this? I said, it's easy, just build a small turbine. And this guy said, okay, build me one, I will pay for it. So that was actually the first time we built a turbine, and it worked.
This is our sales department. Miss Annie, Miss Fatine, and Miss City. They are the first persons who will explain and connect to buyer about our product. This is Mr. Hazek. He is the head of department on marketing section and content creator for the company to feed all the social media with video. This is Miss One Thumb, our Chief Strategy Officer. She involved in all plans and strategies for Elquator.
After this, it was a way to move forward. So we sit down and we form a plan. But we also knew that the strategic place of the company have to be a place where we can work from. That means it was not obvious that it should be Thailand. It was more obvious that maybe it should be Japan, Singapore, maybe Malaysia. So we looked into some of the rules and regulations for experts to work in Southeast Asia. And by that we could see that it was narrowed down to 2 countries, either Singapore or Malaysia. And then we had to look into the financial plan because we knew that this stretch here would be a 5-year plan. So we also could see that we get a lot more from our money by working from Kuala Lumpur. We get a lot more quality of workers if we get them in Kuala Lumpur. Because we could see that many of the workers who was in Singapore, they was actually from Kuala Lumpur. So we were like, okay, Kuala Lumpur is not a bad place. So we choose Kuala Lumpur to be the place where we work.
Mr. Amir, our chemical engineer who are responsible for our hydrogen and methanol project. We also have Miss Liana as programmer. She write code for computer programs to handle the machine. For a woman, she is strong. It's not easy to debugging and troubleshoot systems to make it run smoothly. This is our electrical engineer, Mr. Fad. Whilst having a main responsibility for the battery management system project, he helps and supports most of the electrical and electronic parts for most of the company's projects. He plays the main role in making sure the wiring and electrical system of the company's building is in place. Our designer is very dedicated when producing a product. This is Mr. Akmal. He is the designer in our company. He is the early stage before it went down to the production line. We have a lot of talented engineers. One of them is Mr. Azam. He is the one who calculate and make everything goes as he planned. He lead the project to make it successful.
A while ago, one guy, it's a very famous guy, he asked me, Mr. Henry, do you actually believe that your company make a difference? I looked him in the eyes and I said, yes. The moment I give clean water to one child, the moment I secure a family with electricity, the moment I make sure that my hydroponic system is actually feeding people, that moment I believe that the existence of Elquator is actually there. Which brings me to the next point. Our company supports many things. We support animals. We support terrapins by collecting the eggs from the terrapins, keep them in a small incubator, and when they hatch, we secure them 4 to 5 months so they're a little bit larger so the snakes, iguanas, etc. don't catch them. At the same time, we support wild elephant. Wild elephant in Malaysia. The forest, the solar market, similar things, is actually pressing the wildlife to the limits. It means that the elephants have nowhere to go. So if they have nowhere to go, we need to relocate. This is one of the programs that we support with pretty much everything. Again, with the terrapins, it's something that we support with many things. Besides this, we have a CSR program. It means that for every 4% that we make in gross, not net but gross, we give this back to the community. That means today I'm having 7 football teams. At the same time, I'm having a lot of orphanage, a lot of shelters. This is not minded on one race or one religion. This is where the shelters are based in our area. This is where they need our help. So based on this, we support here and there.
This is Mr. Sobri. He is the best welder in Elquator. He is the one who managed all in-house welding for our company. He has been here for 4 years. He also the mastermind for the welding section. We also have an aluminium welder, Mr. Afik. He also has been here for 4 years. He who are responsible in all aluminium weld inside the office. Well, this is Mr. Shah. He also the welder for Elquator. He will assist Mr. Sobri in any project. They are both good in team. Mr. Amrul is our lathe machine operator. He is the one who are in charge in drilling, scheming and shaping the steel. This is Mr. Hassami, is also our lathe machine operator. He is mainly responsible for lathe machine maintenance, which includes lathe's performance monitoring to ensure it is operating properly. He is also the one who is responsible for the maintenance schedule if there are any issues or problems with the machines. Mr. Shakran, our fiberglass maker, who responsible to make a mold for our water filter tank in Elquator. Well, in Elquator we have our own caretaker, who will look to all cleanliness, and the animals in our company. Heikel is the person who are in charge to make this company a comfortable place for the workers.
My role in Elquator is very simple. Normally I say I do nothing. Which you ask many people, they will say, you just walk around, speak with people, you just hold speeches, you go to ministers, you fly abroad and speak with other ministers. Yes, that is my job. My role is to make sure that the company runs. It means that I have a lot of good staff. Without my staff, I am nothing. Many people say, but you are nothing at all. Yes, sorry. But I'm making a difference in many people's lives. I'm not the one who created a rocket and sent it to Mars or anything else. No, I'm actually the person who say don't use lithium-ion batteries because it's bad for the environment. Political reasons, it's bad for the children who go into the cobalt mines. So my job is to come up with a solution. How I can make a car run on something else than lithium-ion batteries. My job is to come up with a solution. How I can storage AC into large-scale units. That means to take the surplus and then storage it so it can be reused. I'll give you a very good example. In Malaysia today, as you speak, the surplus is close to 7,000 megawatt per hour. That is a lot of carbon credits. It's a lot of CO2. It's a lot of coal. It's a lot of oil, gas, diesel, solar panels, whatever. But it's still the surplus. So my target is to storage this energy and change it into something else. In this case here, we started last year to change it into hydrogen and methanol. It means that power who's already being produced but not used, we we absorb it, and then we change it into hydrogen and methanol. By doing this, you have the fuel for the future. Hydrogen, in its finest form, goes back as oil. My own car runs on partially hydrogen. The other part is actually methanol, which is the other part we produce. We produce the methanol based on plastic. The world are drowning in plastic. So again, my role is to come up with a solution where we have people to collect the plastic. We put the credit they get into an RFID card. We then shred the plastic, put it into a reactor. The reactor runs at from 700 degrees to 2000 degrees. A longer chemical process happens and out come methanol. That means we have a solution for the plastic problem. But basically, what everything behind my role is, it has to come from the first electricity. The first electricity comes from a wind turbine that we produce. That means we produce wind turbines. The largest one we have is 125 kilowatts. Then you can say, oh, it's not that big. We just installed something in Vietnam, Holland, England, who is megawatt. Yes, it costs a lot of money. Sorry. There's not much wind in Southeast Asia in some areas. That means we can control what kind of power we want to collect it. By doing this and storage it, we can give power to it. Back to the plastic. When you collect the plastic, you do something good for the environment. Everybody uses plastic. In Europe, when we go to shopping mall, we buy groceries, we buy a plastic bag. And the government say, oh, we will tax you for the plastic bag. And still, this plastic bag in Europe end up here in Southeast Asia as landfill. This is one of the reasons for this solution, where we take the plastic, we change it into this oil where it actually comes from. Again, my role is to come with solutions. Look at our factory today. Our own factories, all of them runs on our own energy, 100%. We collect rainwater, we keep it into reservoirs, we filter it and we use it. When we use the water, again it runs through filters and we send it back again. It means that we do not pollute. This is how sustainability are from A to Z. All our fiberglass units are being sanded so they're very smooth. It means that we have filters where we collect the microscopic dust pieces so it doesn't run into the drain or anywhere else. We collect it and then we dispose it in our reactors. It also means that my role is to find a solution for the renewable energy systems as solar panels, wind turbine, the blades, etc. Today, we have this solution. How we shred it, we use it in some kind of industries, and we can reuse it in other industries.
This is Mr. Sam. He is the one who responsible in fiber section. His experience in fiber are extremely good. Mr. Din is also our fiberglass maker. He assists Mr. Sam in that section. He will make sure all the blade for the wind turbine are in the good shape. Mr. Awi, also a fiberglass maker. He also assisting in fiberglass section for the wind turbine. We have our welder at wind turbine section. Mr. Zudi, Mr. Mitzi, Mr. Asmir. They are responsible at the wind turbine section for welding. This is Mr. Kahan. He is the chemical engineer in our company. He also involved in methanol and hydrogen section. This is Mr. Ismail, our mechanical engineer, who is also the head engineer of the wind turbine project. Being in charge of a top prioritized project has made him one of the most important staff in Elquator, which is not an easy task for anyone. He plays a great responsibility in making sure that all safety and structural standards are met throughout the completion of the project. This is our software engineer, Mr. Izu, who is mainly responsible for creating and developing one of the vital projects in Elquator. This is our electrical engineer, Mr. Rizwan, who plays a great role in developing the battery storage project, which contributes to a major prerequisite to other projects in Elquator. In addition, programming is one of his significant expertise besides having high knowledge and skills in electrical wiring and electronic circuits designing.